Chosen one, listen to me carefully. What I am about to share is not for everyone. This message is urgent, and it is sacred. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if your heart is not aligned with His truth, you should not be watching this. This message is meant only for those whom God has set apart. Those who are truly chosen will feel it in their spirit and will stay. And if you are here right now, understand this clearly. This message reached you at the exact moment God intended. Not early, not late, right on time. Chosen one, if you go outside today, something will happen. Not by accident, not by chance, but by divine design. God is issuing a warning, not to scare you, but to prepare you. What you are about to hear can protect you, guide you, and shift the way you move through this day and the days ahead. There is a reason your spirit felt drawn to this message. There is a reason you clicked on this video. And if you stay until the end, you will understand what God is trying to prevent and what He is trying to give you. Before we continue, chosen ones, give a like to this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones so they don't miss this divine warning. And comment 999 in the comments to declare that you are aligned, protected, and walking in God's purpose. Why God is warning you today. Chosen one, I want you to slow down for a moment and breathe. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind settle. Because what I'm about to explain is not meant to alarm you. It is meant to anchor you. God does not warn His chosen ones the way He warns the world. When God warns you, it is not because danger has power over you. It is because God has already gone ahead of you and wants you to move with wisdom, not impulse. God is warning you today because you are not spiritually ordinary. You never have been. Your life does not move randomly, and your steps are not left unguarded. When God places a warning in your spirit, it is proof that He is actively involved in your day-to-day movements. Many people wake up and walk straight into situations blind. You don't. God interrupts your routine because your destiny is too valuable to leave unprotected. Understand this clearly. Warnings are a privilege. Only those who are being watched over closely receive them. God does not warn people He has abandoned. He warns those He is guiding. So if you feel this message pressing on your spirit today, that alone tells you something powerful. Heaven is paying attention to you right now. You see, chosen one, there are moments when the spiritual atmosphere around you shifts. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it. A sense of heaviness, a quiet unease, a subtle nudge to be careful. That is not anxiety, that is discernment. God speaks to you before situations unfold, because He knows you tend to carry more than you should. You feel deeply. You absorb environments. You pick up on moods, intentions, and energies even when no one says a word. That sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a calling. But it also means you must be warned when the environment is not meant to be entered casually. God is warning you today because something about today is different. Not dramatic, not obvious, but different. There are interactions, conversations, and movements that carry weight today. Some doors are not meant to be opened. Some reactions are not meant to be given. Some places are not meant to be entered with your guard down. God is not telling you to hide. He is telling you to be aware. You must understand that the chosen ones are always watched, not only by heaven, but by the world. Some people observe you silently. Some feel challenged by your presence. Some are drawn to you without knowing why. Others are unsettled by you without reason. God sees what you cannot see. He hears what is whispered behind closed doors. And when He warns you, it is because He knows which version of you is required today. Calm, not reactive. Observant, not impulsive. Grounded, not scattered. There are seasons when God allows you to move freely, and there are seasons when He asks you to move deliberately. Today requires deliberation, not fear, wisdom. You are being warned because something today is meant to test your spiritual maturity. Not your strength, your restraint. Not your courage, your discernment. Anyone can react. Anyone can speak. Anyone can confront. But not everyone can remain still when provoked. Not everyone can walk away when ego wants to engage. God is watching how you handle today. Chosen one, God is also warning you today because your spirit has been tired lately. You may not admit it openly, but inside you have been carrying emotional weight. Disappointment, frustration, a quiet loneliness. You have been strong for a long time, and strength without rest can turn into vulnerability. God knows that when your spirit is tired, you are more likely to give energy to situations that do not deserve it. So he steps in early. He speaks now so you don't have to recover later. This warning is not about punishment, it is about preservation. God is preserving your peace, your clarity, your emotional balance. There are people today who may try to pull you into their chaos, their opinions, their negativity, or their drama. Not because you invited it, but because your calm exposes their unrest. Your silence exposes their noise. Your boundaries expose their lack of control. God is warning you so you do not mistake spiritual provocation for a divine assignment. Let me tell you something important. Not every opportunity is from God. Not every conversation deserves your response. Not every invitation is meant to be accepted. God warns you today because he wants you to remember that your energy is sacred. Where you place your attention today will determine how you feel tonight. Peace is not automatic. It is chosen. And wisdom is choosing peace even when your flesh wants engagement. Chosen one, God is warning you today because something is trying to rush you. Rushed decisions, rushed reactions, rushed movements. But God does not rush his chosen. He orders their steps. When you feel pressured to move fast, speak fast, or decide fast, pause. That pause is where protection lives. God is reminding you that stillness is not weakness. It is authority under control. There is also another reason for this warning. You are being watched spiritually because of where you are going next in life. Elevation attracts attention. Growth attracts resistance. When you start stepping into a higher level of clarity, discipline, and self-respect, certain forces do not like it. They lose access to you. They lose influence over you. And when access is denied, pressure often increases. God warns you so that pressure does not become distraction. I want you to hear this clearly and let it settle into your heart. You are not under threat. You are under instruction. Big difference. Threat creates fear. Instruction creates confidence. God is not telling you that something bad will happen. He is telling you that something revealing may happen. Something that will show you who is aligned with you and who is not. Something that will expose intentions. Something that will test whether you trust God's voice over your emotions. Chosen one, when God warns you, he is inviting you to walk with him consciously, to move through the day with your eyes open and your heart guarded. Not closed, guarded. There is peace in obedience that no explanation can give you. And there is regret in ignoring quiet warnings that no apology can undo. God loves you too much to stay silent today. So if you feel a calm seriousness in your spirit right now, that is not heaviness, that is alignment. God is saying, stay close, stay aware, stay grounded. You don't need to fight today. You don't need to prove anything today. You don't need to explain yourself today. You only need to listen. This warning is not a burden, it is a gift, and if you receive it with humility and wisdom, today will not drain you, it will strengthen you. What happens spiritually when a chosen one goes outside? Chosen one, I want you to understand something that most people will never be aware of. When you step outside your home, you are not just stepping into streets, buildings, or crowds. You are stepping into a spiritual environment. And because you are chosen, that environment responds to you differently than it responds to others. Your home is a place of covering. It is where your spirit rests, where your guard naturally lowers, where you feel safe enough to exhale. But when you go outside, your spiritual presence becomes visible in ways you cannot see with your physical eyes. You don't announce it. You don't try to draw attention. Yet something about you is noticed. Not because you seek it, but because you carry it. The chosen ones are marked spiritually. That mark is not something to fear. It is a sign of responsibility. When you step outside, your spirit interacts with other spirits, other intentions, other emotional states. Most people move through the world completely unaware of this. They react, absorb, and carry things that don't belong to them. You, however, feel the shift almost immediately. You notice when the atmosphere changes. You sense when something is off. That is discernment activating, not imagination. When you go outside today, your spirit becomes more alert. You may notice your thoughts slowing down or sharpening. You may feel quieter than usual or unusually observant. This is not withdrawal. This is awareness. God designed chosen ones to be watchful without being anxious. But watchfulness requires energy. That is why God warns you. Because awareness without wisdom can become overwhelming. Spiritually speaking, when a chosen one steps into public space, there is a form of exposure. Exposure does not mean danger, it means interaction. You begin to encounter other people's unresolved emotions, intentions, and internal conflicts. Some people feel drawn to you without understanding why. Others feel uncomfortable around you and don't know the reason. Your presence reflects truth, and truth always stirs something in people, whether they admit it or not. This is why some chosen ones feel drained after being around crowds. It is not because they are weak. It is because they are sensitive to spiritual shifts. They feel what others ignore. They notice what others suppress. That sensitivity is a gift, but it requires boundaries. God is teaching you that you don't need to absorb everything you sense. Awareness does not mean ownership. When you go outside, spiritual observation increases. Not everyone is watching you with their eyes, but there is an unseen awareness that surrounds you. This is why certain days feel heavier than others. This is why sometimes you feel the need to retreat quickly after being out. Your spirit knows when it has gathered enough information. God warns you so you do not overextend yourself emotionally or spiritually. There are also divine encounters that happen when chosen ones step outside. These encounters are not always obvious. Sometimes they come as brief conversations, sometimes as delays, sometimes as interruptions, sometimes as moments of silence where you notice something others rush past. God uses ordinary moments to deliver extraordinary insight. But if you move too fast, you miss the instruction hidden in the moment. When you step outside today, your reactions will matter more than your actions. People may say things casually that carry deeper meaning. Situations may arise that feel small but test your patience, humility, or restraint. God is less concerned with what you do today and more concerned with how you respond. Your response reveals your spiritual alignment. Chosen one, I want you to understand this clearly. The world reacts to peace differently than it reacts to noise. And you carry peace. That peace challenges environments built on chaos. That calm exposes restlessness. That clarity exposes confusion. This is why some people react to you strongly without reason. You didn't offend them. You reminded them of something they are avoiding within themselves. When you go outside, you also step into spiritual contrast. Light always reveals what darkness wants to hide. And light does not need to be loud to be effective. Your quiet presence can disrupt more than arguments ever could. God warns you because He does not want you to mistake resistance for failure. Resistance is often confirmation. There is also a protective aspect to what happens when you step outside. God assigns angels to guard your steps, but protection does not remove responsibility. It enhances awareness. You may feel prompted to take a different route, to leave earlier or later than planned, to avoid certain places without logical explanation. These nudges are not random, they are guidance. Obedience to small instructions prevents large complications. Spiritually, today carries a lesson in restraint. You may feel the urge to correct someone, to defend yourself, to explain your position, but God may be asking you to remain silent. Silence is not surrender, it is discernment. Not every misunderstanding requires clarification. Some truths reveal themselves without your involvement. When a chosen one goes outside, spiritual mirrors appear. You may see aspects of yourself reflected in others, both healed and unhealed. This is not condemnation. This is awareness. God uses these reflections to show you how far you've come and what still needs attention. Do not judge what you see. Observe it. Observation brings wisdom without burden. I want you to remember this. You are not meant to be everywhere. You are not meant to engage with everyone. You are not meant to explain yourself to everyone. Chosen ones conserve energy because their assignment requires longevity. God warns you so you do not spend strength on moments that do not deserve it. When you go outside today, you may notice time feels different. Moments may feel slower or faster than usual. This is because your spirit is more present. Presence sharpens perception, and perception changes experience. God is teaching you to live consciously, not reactively. There is nothing to fear about stepping outside today. Fear does not come from God. Wisdom does. Awareness does. Calm instruction does. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into observation. You are stepping into alignment. You are stepping into a lesson that will strengthen you if you remain grounded. So when you step outside, walk slowly, breathe deeply, speak carefully, observe quietly. Let people reveal themselves without interruption. Let situations unfold without forcing outcomes. You don't need to control today. You need to witness it. Chosen one, the spiritual world responds to your posture. When you move in peace, peace guards you. When you move in humility, humility protects you. When you move in obedience, obedience opens doors you don't even know exist yet. Remember this as you go. You are not exposed. You are covered. You are not vulnerable. You are aware. And awareness, guided by God, is one of the greatest forms of protection you will ever carry. The hidden tests and encounters God allows today. Chosen one, today is not an ordinary day, even if it looks ordinary on the surface. God often hides his most important lessons inside moments that seem small, random, or unimportant. That is why many people miss what God is doing. But you are not many people. You are chosen, and because of that, today carries tests and encounters that are designed specifically for your spiritual growth. Let me say this clearly so your heart can stay at peace. God does not test you to trap you. He tests you to train you. Every test today is not meant to expose your weakness, but to reveal your maturity. And most of these tests will not announce themselves loudly. They will arrive quietly, disguised as normal interactions, delays, inconveniences, or conversations. One of the first hidden tests today will be patience. You may encounter situations that move slower than you want, people who don't understand you, systems that delay you, conversations that feel unnecessary. God is watching how you handle the pace. Will you rush? Will you complain? Or will you remain steady and calm? Patience is not about waiting. It is about maintaining peace while waiting. And peace is one of the strongest signs of spiritual authority. Another test today may come through provocation. Someone may say something casually that touches a sensitive place in you, not because they know your story, but because God allows pressure to reveal healing. The temptation will be to defend yourself, to correct them, to prove your point. But understand this: not every provocation is an invitation to respond. Sometimes silence is the passing grade. Sometimes restraint is the victory. God also allows encounters today that test your discernment. You may meet people who seem friendly, curious, or interested in you, but God is watching whether you give access too quickly. Chosen ones often have open hearts, and that can become a vulnerability if not guided by wisdom. Not everyone who approaches you deserves your story, your energy, or your trust. Discernment is not suspicion. It is wisdom guided by peace. There may be a test involving your emotions today. A memory could resurface. A thought could trigger sadness or frustration. This is not to pull you backward. It is to show you how much you have grown. God sometimes allows emotional echoes to see if they still control you. if they no longer move you the way they used to. That is not pain resurfacing. That is healing being confirmed. Chosen one, there is also a test of humility today. You may be overlooked, unacknowledged, or misunderstood. Your efforts may not be recognized in the moment. God is watching whether you need applause to remain obedient. True humility does not need validation. It finds satisfaction in alignment with God, not in the approval of people. Some encounters today will feel random, but they are not. A brief conversation, a stranger's reaction, a delay that redirects you. God often uses these moments to protect you from something you cannot see. If plans change unexpectedly, do not resist it. Redirection is often protection in disguise. What feels like interruption may actually be divine prevention. There may also be a test of compassion. You might encounter someone who is difficult, negative, or emotionally heavy. God is not asking you to fix them. He is asking you to remain kind without absorbing their burden. Compassion with boundaries is spiritual maturity. You can be loving without being drained. You can listen without carrying what is not yours. Today also holds a test of obedience in small things. A nudge to leave earlier. A feeling to avoid a place. A quiet instruction to pause before speaking. These small obediences matter more than big gestures. Many people want to obey God in major moments but ignore Him in subtle ones. Chosen ones learn to listen in the quiet. Let me tell you something important. God is less interested in how spiritual you sound today, and more interested in how grounded you remain. You don't need to preach. You don't need to explain your beliefs. You don't need to correct everyone. Sometimes your calm presence is the message. Sometimes your restraint speaks louder than words. There is also a test involving your focus. Distractions will try to pull your attention in multiple directions. Noise, urgency, unnecessary conversations. God is watching whether you protect your mental space. Where your focus goes, your energy follows. And today, your energy must be guarded. Chosen one, some tests today will feel uncomfortable, but they will not harm you. Discomfort is often the signal of growth. When God stretches you, it is not to break you. It is to prepare you for what is coming next. You cannot carry new levels of responsibility with old reactions. You may also experience a test of forgiveness today. Someone from the past may cross your mind, or someone may remind you of a wound you thought was healed. God is not reopening the wound. He is checking if it still has power over you. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It is freedom. Every encounter today has a lesson attached to it. But you are not required to decode everything immediately. Sometimes understanding comes later. Your responsibility today is not analysis. It is obedience. Stay calm. Stay aware. Stay grounded. Chosen one, God allows these hidden tests because He trusts you. He knows you are capable of walking through today with wisdom and grace. You are not being examined harshly. You are being refined gently. And refinement always leads to elevation. So as you move through today, do not be afraid of the encounters you face. They are not obstacles. They are confirmations. They are proof that God is shaping you, guiding you, and preparing you for something greater than you can see right now. Remain steady. Remain humble. Remain obedient. And today will not drain you. It will strengthen you. Chosen one, I want to add this carefully, because it matters more than you think. One of the most subtle tests God allows today is the test of self-control when no one is watching. How you speak to yourself, how you interpret situations internally, how quickly you assume intentions. God is watching your inner dialogue today, not just your outward behavior. Victory does not begin in public. It begins in the private thoughts you choose to entertain or release. There may also be a test around comparison. You might notice what others have, how they move, how they are treated, or how their lives appear easier. This is not to make you feel less. It is to remind you that your path is different because your calling is different. Comparison drains gratitude, and gratitude protects peace. God wants you focused on your lane, your timing, your assignment. Another hidden test today is trust. Trusting God when things do not immediately make sense. Trusting silence. Trusting delays. Trusting redirection without explanation. Faith is not proven when everything is clear. Faith is proven when you move forward calmly without needing answers. Finally, there is a test of surrender, letting go of the need to control outcomes, letting God handle what you cannot fix, letting today unfold without forcing meaning into every moment. Surrender is not giving up. It is placing weight where it belongs. God never asked you to carry everything alone. If you pass these hidden tests, not by perfection but by humility, today will quietly bless you. You may not notice it immediately, but your spirit will feel lighter tonight. That lightness is confirmation why some people will react strongly to you today. Chosen one, I want you to understand this deeply so it no longer confuses or wounds you. Some people will react strongly to you today, and it will have very little to do with anything you said or did. Their reaction is not about your behavior, it is about what your presence awakens within them. You carry a certain stillness, a clarity, a quiet authority that cannot be faked. You don't have to announce it, you don't even have to speak much. And yet, when you enter a space, something shifts. For people who are at peace with themselves, this feels comforting. For people who are not, it feels unsettling. Light does that. It doesn't attack darkness, it reveals it. Some people react strongly to you because your calm exposes their inner noise. They are used to chaos inside, and when they encounter someone who moves slowly, thinks carefully, and responds instead of reacts, it highlights what they have been avoiding. This can produce irritation, defensiveness, or unnecessary confrontation. Not because you are wrong, but because your presence becomes a mirror they did not ask to look into. Others will react because you represent boundaries they lack. You do not over-explain yourself. You do not beg for approval. You do not chase validation. And for people who survive on attention, control, or emotional leverage, this can feel threatening. Your emotional independence reminds them of their dependency, and that discomfort often shows up as attitude, sarcasm, or coldness. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly so you stop internalizing what does not belong to you. You are not responsible for how others process truth. You are not obligated to shrink yourself so others can feel comfortable. And you are not called to fix reactions that were triggered by someone else's unresolved issues. Some reactions today will come from jealousy, even if it is subtle. Not jealousy of material things, but of your peace, your direction, your self-respect. People notice when someone has stopped chasing what drains them. They notice when someone has learned to walk away instead of argue. That kind of growth challenges people who are still stuck in cycles they refuse to address. There will also be people who react strongly because they sense they no longer have access to you the way they used to. Maybe you have changed. Maybe you have become quieter, more selective, less available. This can feel like rejection to those who benefited from your old version. But growth always requires distance from what once depended on your lack of boundaries. Chosen one, some people will test you today just to see if they can still provoke a reaction, a comment, a tone, a look. They are checking if the old version of you still lives there. God is watching too. Not to judge you harshly, but to confirm your transformation. The greatest proof of healing is not what you say, but what no longer controls you. You must also understand that not all strong reactions are negative. Some people will be drawn to you intensely. They may overshare, attach quickly, seek your advice or comfort without knowing why. This is because your presence feels safe. But safety does not mean access. God is teaching you that you can be compassionate without becoming a container for everyone's pain. Chosen ones often attract people who are tired, broken, or searching. That is part of the calling. But today, God is reminding you that you are not required to carry what He did not assign you. You can be kind without absorbing, You can listen without fixing. You can care without overextending. There may be reactions rooted in misunderstanding. People may assume things about you because you do not explain yourself. They may label you as distant, arrogant, or cold. Let them. Peace does not require explanation. Those who are meant to understand you will, without forcing. Chosen one, I want to address something gently but honestly. Some reactions will hurt, even when you are calm, even when you mean well, even when you are doing everything right. This does not mean you failed. It means you are no longer operating at the same emotional level as before. When you rise, not everyone can come with you, and some will resent the height instead of doing the work to climb. God allows these reactions today to strengthen your discernment, to teach you when to engage and when to remain silent, when to lean in and when to step back. You do not owe emotional access to everyone who reacts loudly. Wisdom is knowing that silence is sometimes the most loving response. Do not waste energy trying to correct perceptions. Do not chase understanding. Do not explain your intentions repeatedly. Those who are aligned with you will feel your heart without words. Those who are not will twist anything you say anyway. Chosen one, remember this. Strong reactions are often signs of impact. You don't have to be aggressive to be powerful. Your consistency, your peace, your restraint carry more authority than emotional reactions ever could. Today, when people react strongly, pause, breathe, observe. Ask yourself quietly, is this mine to carry? Most of the time, the answer will be no. Release what is not yours. Protect your peace. Guard your energy. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to be aligned with God, and alignment will always stir something in those who are not ready to face themselves. Walk gently today. Speak wisely, and let reactions reveal truths you no longer need to investigate. Chosen one, there is one more layer you need to understand so it no longer unsettles you. Some strong reactions today will come simply because you no longer resonate at the same frequency as certain people. When alignment shifts, distance naturally forms. What once felt familiar can now feel uncomfortable, and people often interpret that discomfort as something you caused. You didn't. Growth changed the dynamic, and not everyone knows how to adjust. You may also notice that some people become unusually quiet around you, less expressive, less open. This is not rejection. It is recognition. On some level, they sense you see more than you say, and that awareness makes people cautious. Let that be okay. Silence can be respect disguised as distance. If you encounter defensiveness, remember this. Defensiveness often protects insecurity. You don't need to push through it. You don't need to dismantle it. You only need to remain steady. God did not call you to win arguments. He called you to walk in truth. Strong reactions are not signs that you are doing something wrong. Often they are confirmation that you are doing something right. Let this understanding settle your spirit so you can move through today unbothered, clear-minded, and at peace. God's instructions for you before you step out. Chosen one, before you step outside today, God wants your posture right. Not your physical posture, but your inner one. How you carry yourself on the inside will determine how protected, peaceful, and clear you remain on the outside. This is not about fear. This is about alignment. When alignment is correct, protection follows naturally. First, God is instructing you to slow down. Not everything needs an immediate response. Not every thought needs to be followed. Not every emotion needs to be expressed. Slowness today is not delay. It is discernment. When you move slowly, you see clearly. When you speak slowly, you choose wisely. When you decide slowly, you avoid regret. Rushing creates noise. Stillness creates authority. God is also instructing you to remain grounded in your body. Pay attention to your breathing. When tension rises, breathe deeper. When emotions stir, pause longer. Your body is often the first place God signals you. Tightness is a warning. Calm is confirmation. You don't need to analyze every feeling, but you do need to respect them. Grounding yourself keeps you present, and presence keeps you protected. Before you step out, God wants you to release the need to control outcomes. Control is exhausting, and it is not your assignment today. Your role is obedience, not management.